Hey everybody, how you doing? I thought I would just go live right now. We've got loads of data. Excuse me. We've got loads of data coming in, and I think it's important to share it with you guys. The title of this one here is if your last foreman quit or might, here's why. And if that doesn't interest you, then you probably don't have a foreman. We need running a shop, running a business. We need a trusted number two. We need somebody else who can help us. Oh, so my phone's ringing. That's my wife, but we'll talk to her after. We need that trusted number two person, right? So that I can head out and do measurements or talk to another builder or fix something else somewhere else in the company. You think about the whole flow chart of the business, right? You've got the office, then you've got the shop floor, then you've got installs. So if you had to think about where a problem is, let's just talk about it from problems in your shop. Is it before the CNC, after the CNC, or after the shipping door? Where is the bottleneck in your business? That's maybe a great way to look at it. Well, those bottlenecks amplify when somebody's in that position all the time. So if your last foreman quit or might, here's why. They left or they might leave because of chaos, blame, confusion. But there's three reasons that we got from our data. I love data. I think you probably love like real, actual, usable data as well. So the first question I'm going to answer for some of you is, well, where did you get this data, Tom? Because I've been looking online. I can't find it. Well, it's not online. We surveyed 100 different people in our overall community. Some of you are already members of Contractor Strategy Group, which is the Facebook group. Many of you are already clients working with myself and the other four coaches here. Many of you answered survey questions that we put out there over the years through emails, and we've gathered that data, right? Then we also went and scanned different places, different data sources from different contractors to get even more data. And then our current foreman training class has 26 companies in it. So we surveyed them as well. So at the bare minimum, there's 126 data points that we've been pulling this from. The data that we pull during the foreman training is confidential. And the reason that we made it confidential and not attached to anybody is because I want the real answers. I don't this is going to come across wrong, but I hope it makes sense. I don't care what the number is. I just want the number. I don't care what the info is. I just want the info because I can't fix it if I don't know what it is. And so I can't lie to myself either. Like if your baby's ugly, you got an ugly baby. In the case of a baby, they're never really ugly for that long. They get cute afterwards. But if you know what I mean, you just have to get the information. So that's what we did here. So at least at the very minimum, 126 foremen and owners giving information back to us that we've collated into this. And there's three big reasons I want to share with you now for why that if your last foreman quit or your current foreman might quit, here's why. It comes down to chaos, blame, lack of systems, confusion, right? So number one, this is the number one here. Number one thing we hear is that there's a lack of support from upper management. And that is probably you listening. If you listen to the show, which is called Cabinet Maker Profit System, then you already know that we talk about the business of the cabinetry and millwork and woodwork business. And the question coming from your guys, your crew, is that, hey, there's a lack of support. Are you having regular meetings with them? Are you having functional meetings with them? Does the left hand know what the right hand is doing? Is your foreman left to shoulder all the blame? Here's actually a couple of comments that came from the survey results. I get blamed when things go wrong, but no one actually tells me what the plan is. That's one thing that we've heard. The other thing that we saw in the comments is they expect me to lead, but never trained me how. And listen, I've been, my very first foreman, I wasn't even called a foreman. Somebody just said, hey, can you lead the crew? I said, yeah, I got a raise. And that was the end. That was the training right there. I got a raise. But nobody told me how to do it. They just said, make sure everybody's on time. Make sure nobody's goofing off all day. That was my training. Well, that doesn't lend itself to running a great team, right? I don't think at the time my manager or the owner of the company even told anybody that I was in charge. I just started walking around trying to keep people on track. That was it. Have you done the same thing in your company? If you're watching this, you're already running a very serious contracting company, right? And so if you've got a foreman, that means you've got at least 3 or 4 people underneath him or her. So why not invest in that person? And I don't mean you don't have to take my training. You don't have to do anything. But you don't have to pay for anything. But the one thing you need to do is support that person. Have a regular weekly meeting with them. Just a regular weekly meeting. Even better if you have it 2 or 3 times a week, because that person is a force multiplier for everything you want done in the shop, which frees you up to go do something else, which lets you get home in time for dinner like you promised your wife you were gonna, right? So number one, The general bucket is, why are people leaving? Why are people frustrated as foreman in your company? A lack of support from you. The other one is poor communication. Some of the things that we've heard in the reports is nobody talks to each other, which is crazy. Like nobody talks to each other. I find out about changes. I'm looking at my notes here. I find out about changes after they happen. Well, imagine if you were in that position. You walk out on the floor and you're like, Jerry, this is what we want done today. And Jerry goes, yeah, actually, the plan changed. I'm doing it this way. Boss said so. Well, why am I here? What the heck? Right? The other one that we hear is the office makes decisions, but we're the ones stuck with the fallout. You know, and I've said this before, the foreman walks this razor edge, this very fine line where they have to be the megaphone of what the office wants, and they have to be the megaphone of what the floor wants and needs, back both ways. So they're kind of alone in the company. They're very unique in that position. That's why they need that one-on-one time with you. So poor communication definitely leads the field, and it's fixable. I just gave you the solution to fix it. Meet with your foreman at least once a week, if not 2 or 3 times a week. It is valuable to do that. Meetings aren't a waste of time if your meetings are valuable. You might hate meetings, and I'm still going to tell you the same thing. I've been doing this for 25 years. I can't say that I'm great at it, but I've been a professional business coach specifically for contractors. I've built and sold my own companies. I still can't say I'm really good at it. I'm still working at it. So I'm sure you are as well. So just change a little bit every week. And if the change you make this week at your shop is to start having regular meetings with your foreman, private, confidential meetings about what's going on in the company, it's not going to cost you anything. Start doing it. I'm happy to step in when you need me, but you can do it without me. And then the third thing, the third thing is constant chaos and no planning. So they're just always living in a state of chaos, always reacting. You imagine coming in every day waiting for what's going to go wrong. You just can't get a solid foothold and you can't build to go forward. This weighs on people. It really does. You've asked somebody, probably a great, very skilled craftsperson. You said, hey, look, you're really good on the tools. I'd like to make you a supervisor, a foreman, a leader, right? But now then they enter a world of chaos. They went from a world of, I'm going to work on this piece, and that piece got done. It was done great. I'm very proud of it, to chaos and no planning. And what we've heard from people is every day is firefighting. There's no schedule, just go, 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 right? And the other thing that people have said is I can't lead a team when I don't even know, I can't lead a team when I don't even know what's coming next. Sorry, trying to read my chicken scratch notes here. Those are the pieces of feedback that we got from foremen in the field. And again, that's at least, at the very minimum, 126 points of data. So constant chaos and no planning, poor communication, and lack of support from upper management. Listen, if you need to get in touch with me, go ahead and get in touch. Happy to continue this conversation with you. You know how to get in touch with me. But I thought you'd want to have that information in your back pocket. If you're wondering why your last really good foreman or supervisor quit, whoever he or she was, or if you think your current one might, these are at least 3 reasons you got to deal with. And the answer to all 3 of these is set a weekly meeting, sit down with them, talk through the issues so they don't feel like they're always reactive in the business. It's a massive amount of stress. They take that stress home, and who wants that? You don't want that, right? I want you to get home early. I want you to be profitable. I want you to have a great, happy crew, and that's what we're looking for here. Anyways, thank you very much for checking in. I hope you find these valuable. If you do, leave a thumbs up. If you have any comments at all, leave the comments. Anyways, thanks for checking in, folks, and we'll talk to you soon.